You wake before the alarm again, a habit that started the day your company downsized, and the badge that once opened every door suddenly opened none. At first, you kept to a schedule of resume revisions, networking calls, online seminars, but months later the clock lost meaning. Friends returned fewer texts. Your son left for college, and even the dog stopped watching the front window because no one was coming or going anymore. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was judgmental. It asked, "What do you offer now?" Asterisk. One great Tuesday you drive to the hardware store just to walk aisles that smell like sawdust and solvable problems. Near the paint mixers you hear an old man cursing softly at a diagram, hands shaking around a stack of boards. You offer help before thinking. Together you translate the cryptic blueprint of a ramp he's building for his wife, whose knees gave out last winter. He admits the angled cuts scare him. You calculate the rise, overrun on scratch paper left in your wallet from a time when meetings needed math on the fly. 30 minutes later, lumber is loaded, and the old man's mood has brightened into something like faith. Driving home, you catch yourself smiling at a red light. It feels foreign, but it sticks. You pull into your driveway, daring the silence to critique, yet the house seems to breathe easier, as if noticing you brought purpose back in with your keys. That night you search community boards instead of job sites. A posting, "Need volunteers to repair kids' bikes for summer program." You haven't tuned a derailleur in years, but fingers remember faster than confidence. Saturday finds you in a parking lot lined with rusty spokes and restless energy. A fifth grader named Cole watches every move as you straighten his back wheel. He asks how you learn to fix things. You almost say, "Back when I mattered," asterisk, but catch the lie. You matter in this moment right now because a boy will ride safer after you tighten the last bolt. The volunteer coordinator notes your patience, asks if you'd mentor teens in basic mechanics. You expect reluctance. Instead, you feel grateful for the invitation. The next week, 6 high schoolers circle a dismantled lawnmower engine on a shop table. They look skeptical until the pistons slide free like magician's doves. You give them tools, not answers, and watch their posture rise with each problem solved. Word spreads. A single mom needs her dryer belt replaced. A veteran can't reach the gutters to clean spring debris. You start carrying a toolkit in the trunk. Payment arrives as stories, some heavy, some hilarious, all reminding you the world remains under construction. Months roll. The coordinator nominates you for a civic award. You decline but agree to speak at career day. In a classroom you face boys certain the world doesn't need them either. You hold up a strip screw and a driver bit, explaining that the bit's value is proven only when matched to the exact need of the screw. Purpose, you tell them, is less about who notices you and more about which problems you decide to wrestle. They lean forward like plants toward light. That evening, your son video calls from college. He heard from mom about dad's garage ministry and laughs, proud. He asks advice on repairing a dorm chair. You guide him through distance bridged by utility, and when the chair stands level, he says, "Thanks, Dad. I needed that." The weight of those 3 words outmatches any title you lost. You still apply for jobs because bills remain, but interviews feel less like auditions for worthiness and more like negotiations of mutual need. One hiring manager finds your volunteer work more interesting than your former salary. He says the company seeks leaders who create value before being asked. You accept the offer, but keep Wednesdays open for the bike program. The first paycheck arrives the same day a letter does from the ramp man's wife. She writes that every morning she glides down the slope you built, feels sunrise on her face, and thanks a stranger who turned fear into freedom. You place the letter above your desk as a compass pointing away from the myth of being unnecessary. Purpose, you learn, doesn't retire when positions do. It waits in hardware aisles, on broken chains, in someone else's overwhelmed sigh. It arrives every time you ask, "Need a hand?" and mean it. So the next morning, when the alarm finally beats you awake, you smile at its insistence. There is work that still needs doing work only you would notice if left undone, and that is enough to pull the covers back and set feet on the floor. The silence in the room has changed. It no longer questions your value. It listens, willing to be told what problem you will solve today.